Welcome to the Feast, where the focus is supporting students, families, and teachers with critical thinking skills, tools, and resources. My name is Nasira Waters, and I've worked in the education system for over 2 decades as an English teacher, literacy coach, and mentor. Today, we're going to focus on the criteria required for effective presentations. So I have a rubric here, and it addresses effective presentations and skills for public speaking in middle and high school. Now, of course, these can apply outside of school. However, my focus is for middle and high school students. Now we're going to look at the various criteria at each level. So first we have in the first column, we have the categories, which are eye contact, body language, volume and clarity, tone and vocal expression, purposeful pacing, and overall effectiveness. And for each of these categories, we have criteria for at different levels. So the first level, it exceeds the standards, and I would present this typically in my 8th grade class, but it also applies to 7th through 12th grade. Then the next level is that the presenter meets standards. Then we have approaching standards and standards not met. So what you see in terms of the blue links, these are links that you can click on to identify the meaning of that word. So you have the support in that way. So there are words that students, these words, some of you may know, but there are some students that may need the definition. So I provided that support. Now for eye contact, I'm going to read the criteria at each level, but at some point I may move and only do levels exceeds and meets, and then you'll have to go and read the entire criteria for yourself. But essentially, this is to support students with effective presentations. In my experiences, many students struggle with providing effective presentations because standing in front of an audience is, it's difficult, and it can be something that students really that they struggle with immensely. And I've had that experience with many students. And so as years progressed, and I observed the areas that students were struggling in, I developed this rubric to support them so that when they're practicing, they can work on the areas that they need to develop. And so as the student, you can practice with other audience members, your friends, your family, and so forth. And you can give this rubric to them so that they can then check off the areas that you meet, and then the areas that you want to or need to develop, you can work on those because you know where it is, where those areas are. And so let's look at eye contact. So the highest level is exceeds, then we go to meets, approaching, and standards not met. So for eye contact, the presenter maintains varied eye contact throughout the presentation. And when I say varied, that means that you as the presenter are scanning the room in a natural manner to convey and to express that you are engaged with the overall audience in front of you, versus, let's say, having infrequent eye contact, or versus focusing in on a few audience members. So, and of course here, you're not really having any eye contact at all. For the next category, which is body language, the presenter stands up straight and is relaxed and confident, and providing gestures throughout to enhance the presentation. versus frequently you have gestures throughout that mostly support the presentation. And for approaching the standard, the presenter slouches, right? So that's something that I find that many students struggle with, that slouching component or leaning against a wall or board. So you want to practice standing up straight. And then we have that the gestures are used throughout, but they may be distracting at times. And so you want to ensure that you don't provide too many gestures to distract, or not enough that would support or enhance the meaning. And of course here, there's slouching and the presenter is visibly nervous, or and gestures are not used throughout the presentation, and those that are distracting to the presentation. Then we have volume and clarity. So here for the first level, the volume is at an appropriate level to be heard by all audience members. Words are spoken with clarity and enhanced comprehension. So you want to ensure that when you speak that you enunciate, meaning that the sounds in the words are clear, that they don't sound slurred, so that all audience members will have an understanding of what you are expressing. And here the volume is appropriate as well and heard by all audience members. And there's clarity. The words are spoken with clarity to support comprehension. Here we have most of the words are spoken with clarity. Let me go up to the other criteria here in this section. The audience has some difficulty hearing parts of the presentation due to low volume. So again, you want to practice that. Ask the audience that you are practicing in front of to go to the back of that room or furthest away from you so that you can practice increasing your volume. Not to the point of yelling, but just projecting your voice. And then lastly, the audience is straining to hear and or comprehend what the presenter is saying. The volume is low, and there's a lack of clarity, which impedes, meaning it prevents comprehension. Then we have the tone and vocal expression. So variation in tone and vocal expression are used to effectively convey emotions and enhance the presentation throughout. So we have tone. In terms of tone, you can have a jovial, meaning a humorous tone, an excited tone, a sad tone. But the difference from tone and vocal expression is vocal expression, you might have laughter. Now, of course, vocal expression in terms of laughter expresses a tone, but they are not the same. Here we have frequent variations in tone and vocal expression are used to convey emotions and support the meaning of the presentation throughout. And for the next level, the presentation is often monotone, meaning there's no variation, no change in your tone. You just sound the same throughout the entire presentation. And then here you're completely monotone throughout. And then we have purposeful pacing. The pace of the presentation enhances the content of the meaning. It's not too fast or too slow. Pauses are made when appropriate to emphasize ideas and concepts. And that's something you really want to practice because it does make a difference in conveying the meaning of the entire presentation. And here it's similar, but it's mostly appropriate. And then the next one, the pacing is either too fast or too slow, and there's some difficulty understanding some ideas or concepts. And here the pacing presented is either too fast or too slow, and the audience has difficulty understanding several ideas and concepts. Now, in terms of the overall effectiveness, it's evident that the presenter has thoroughly prepared and rehearsed. Also, the audience is engaged throughout the entire presentation. The next level of criteria is it's clear that the presenter has prepared and rehearsed. The audience is engaged throughout most of the presentation. Then we have for the following level, the presenter seems to lack some preparation and or is somewhat unrehearsed, and the audience is engaged throughout most of the presentation. And then the presenter is unprepared and or unrehearsed, and the audience is mostly unengaged. So ask your audience members that you're practicing in front of to check off the areas that you meet, so that you know the areas that you need to develop. Also, utilize this so that even if you don't have a presentation coming up, it's something that you will be prepared for when the time comes. I hope this has been helpful to you. Now, if it has, please like, subscribe, and share. I am looking to reach a goal of 500 subscribers, so I definitely appreciate your support, especially if you're taking any of the resources, strategies, and ideas that I am presenting in any of my videos. Again, like, subscribe, and share. My goal is to reach at least 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so I greatly appreciate your help, and I will see you or be here to share with you next Wednesday. I look forward to seeing you then. Again, like, subscribe, and share.